Bantu Holomisa, Bantu Holomisa, Bantu Holomisa. If you ask me, I'm not surprised. And I don't know you guys, why are you always surprised about these things? Right? I'm not surprised. I am really 100% not surprised. Mr. General Bantu Holomisa, surprised that he acted the way he acted. Guys, come on. That is why, for me, to you, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you power, right? Every time you watch your politicians on screen, in parliament, interviews, how they tackle difficult questions, blah, 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 listen to them and also listen to their character, or look at their character, their personality, right? Now, I want us to listen a bit, okay? It's just a short video on what Mr. Bantu Holomisa, the general, actually said on that trending video that was happening, whatever, right? Let's take a listen to this, and then I will come back, guys, and tell you why I am not surprised, okay? Anyway, let's go.
General replied and said, "Lo muntu ukhuluma language yakhe angazi noma akafundisanga yini inhlonipho language yakhe." That for me, that's discrimination. Number two,
that's a compliment about the arrogant. Now you are arrogant.
But General,
thank you. Bye-bye. Now you're talking nonsense. You are talking nonsense.
We don't need these people like Mr. Station because they can't answer our question, but we voted for them to be there.
Yeah, you didn't vote for me, so don't take lies.
No, we never ever vote for you, General.
Yeah, thank you very much. Don't vote for me. Go to hell.
Please, can we have proper people to answer and account?
Thank
not
you.
This member of parliament that can't even account and be arrogant now.
Yeah, sorry, General, I know you have to respond as well because we are at Teka, but you just used a line at "go to hell." I'm going to ask you to retract that particular phrase.
I'm not going to do that. If you are not satisfied, go to hell now.
Oh,
protect now.
No, but the party team must go to hell. Remember now, Usu Deputy Minister, akakuvotelanga, but we lead nonetheless, General.
I'm pretty
disappointed that we have leaders like you, General. That is why we have issues at Goma. That is why we have issues in our borders, because we've got people like you.
All right, no, let's do this then. Yeah. Okay, sure. Let me release you. Deputy Minister, let me release you then. We will not continue with this conversation anymore, but we thank you for having been with us for the past 30 minutes. We will not continue with you. So, for the time of
Okay, now, Mr. Holomisa, Mr. General Holomisa, I want to be very careful here because you see, when it comes to this type of things, sometimes you need to look at both sides. Don't take and don't be biased because a person is a leader and then you take a side, okay? And then because of that, then you take a side. I don't do that. In this channel, I don't do that, okay? Now, let us look at the situation, first of all. And just for a warning, okay? I'm going also to drag some examples which might include some of the leaders in politics. Okay, some of the leaders in politics, and if I mention a leader that maybe is in your party, please don't come for me and I'm just making an example because so some of you like to comment and say, why are you tracking this? Why are you tracking the ANC party? Why are you tracking Malema? Why are you tracking? Like, guys, when I'm making a point, sometimes it's good to make an example because whether you like it or not, we do have many politicians in South Africa, and some of them maybe they might have been in those situations and maybe they handled it in a different way. So you need to compare, because whether you like it or not, if you are a leader in politics, you are a leader, you will be compared with other leaders so that we see that you are doing good or not. Okay, just like in the GGNU today, we are comparing the minister of the DA, the minister of the ANC, the minister of whatever, the minister of whatever. We do compare who is doing well. Whether you like it or not, we do compare. Maybe you don't, but I do, because I need to see who is doing well. Anyway, let's not talk about that. So I'm just warning you on that one. All right, let's talk about Mr. Holomisa. Mr. Holomisa, to be honest with you, like I said, I'm not surprised. Now, the reason why I am not surprised, okay? One of the reasons I am not surprised is the following, right? I am under the impression that Mr. Holomisa or General Holomisa, he is referred as General because perhaps, I'm not 100% sure, I will put something on the screen, maybe that explains why he is actually referred as a general. And then if he is referred as a general because of the military thing, or because maybe he was involved in military whatever, you know, and all of that, right? You must never expect that a person like that, if they are asked a question and he deems or listen to the question, and then also the person that is asking a question maybe puts some words inside, for example, and then the person ends up saying, you are arrogant, I trust you in me. They will bring it back to you twice. Not because of the person is whatever, but because of the person, the way he was trained. Chances are, Mr. General Holomisa, he's got this thing, all right? We all know that if you were a soldier or if you were involved in one way or another in a soldier, whatever, whether you were doing anything there, as long as you were there, there is some kind of being strict and also of being pushing back when a person is pushing you back, all right? With that background, right? When you look at Mr. Holomisa, according to the observation that I usually make when politicians speak, in most cases when they speak, I don't just listen to what comes out of their mouths. I look at the holistic of the person, the body language of the person. I am not an expert in body language, all right? But I also look at that, you know, I use my whatever, you know, whatever that I can do, you know. And also I look at their personality, because that is very important, especially if a person is asking a question and if a person is answering a question. Now, I am saying if a person is asking a question because you will remember that Mr. Holomisa, he was in an opposition in parliament where sometimes he would ask questions from ministers, he will ask questions from whatever, okay? And you will remember that in parliament, they will refer to him as a general, as General Bantu Holomisa, okay? That is very important because it plays a crucial role, all right? The personality of Mr. General Bantu Holomisa from a distance, I'm not saying I know because from a distance, whatever that he did on that radio station, to be honest with you, from whatever that I've observed, from him in parliament and everything, I am not surprised, all right? Especially when it comes to what? When it comes to interviews, radio, TV. I don't think he is actually, you know, up to that, you know, I don't want to undermine people, but, you know, I have seen his interviews in radio stations and TVs, and every time I listen to him, in most cases, when I listen to him, I usually I cross my hands, and I'm like, please don't ask a question that is attacking. Because Mr. Holomisa is going to bring it back to you angrily. And he's going to push back. Because he's a general. I don't know why they call him general. But if it's military related, trust you in me. You push, they will push back. Right? Now, let's just look at this thing that happened there. One, the guy calls Mr. Holomisa, he calls him like you are arrogant. Right? He says you are arrogant, blah, blah, blah. Already it's messed up. Mr. Holomisa doesn't like it. He will never like it. Nobody, I think, will ever like it. But the way you respond, I think it's very important as a leader. Okay? As a leader, it's very important that the way you respond to whatever question, whatever person is attacking, whatever to doing, whatever, it's very important on how you respond. You don't respond and drag yourself or pull yourself down to their level. The guy calls you arrogant. You don't have to also continue and actually show that the way what he's saying, by saying you are arrogant, it's actually true because of how you respond to the question. Okay? That means as a leader, you need to be able to handle these type of questions, because especially if you are a leader in government, This is what you need to expect. That's what we expect. When I'm listening to a radio, when I'm listening to a TV, one thing that I expect, especially when they open doors to actually people to call or make calls, you must understand, they will attack you. They will ask questions to attack you. You must be ready for that. According to how I observe leaders, me, especially if they are asked questions, if a person asks you a question, I am going to be so interested in how you respond to the question. All right? It's going to tell me if you are a good leader or you are not a good leader. You can have a title, you can be called what, but the way you respond to the question for me, it's going to tell me if you are a good leader or you are not a good leader. Some people, they might look at you and look at you as a good leader, maybe because they like you, maybe because they love you, they favor you. But the way you are going to answer for me, it's going to show me whether you are a good or you are a not so good leader. Okay? Mr. Holomisa says, you are calling me arrogant. Okay, and then I'm arrogant. Okay? And then he goes on, and then he calls the person, and then he says, yeah, and then I'm arrogant, then you can go to hell. Right? The host comes in. Right? And then when he comes in, he says, hey, Mr. Mimi, Deputy Minister, please, can you retract this thing of saying he must go to hell? Okay? He's the host. He's trying to handle things. All right? And the host is expecting that because the guy is the leader, the person is the deputy president, he will be able to handle this thing of being referred as arrogant better, you know, because he's a leader. And then he says, no, retract this thing of saying go to hell. Mr. Holomisa says, listen, because you are busy interfering here, you also go to hell. I'm not retracting anything here. All right? And that's where it ends. And the guy tries to push, and then Mr. Holomisa is like, okay, bye-bye, you are also arrogant. You are also, you also go to hell. Now the host had to finish. All right, had to end the show because it was already out of the head. And the guy in the background there on the phone is like, yeah, we are not going to vote for you. And then he's like, yeah, well, you didn't even vote for us. We don't want to vote, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And the guy, when he goes and then he says, yeah, we are not going to vote for you because you are useless. You see? Whether you like it or not, both gentlemen, they were wrong. Mr. Holomisa, the way he responded, he was wrong. Now, he was wrong because he's a leader, okay? Whether you like it or not, he's a human being, of course, feelings, emotions, whatever. But I can tell you, as a leader, for me, that was wrong. On the side of the guy who was asking a question, he was also wrong because he ended up calling him useless. I can understand the arrogant thing. Maybe Mr. Holomisa could have responded better. I understand. But you don't go as far as you calling a person that you are useless. We will not vote for you because you are useless. Oh, that is why we are not voting for you because you are useless. You don't say that. You don't do that. All right? Now, for me, both of them, they were in the wrong. And I do understand. The emotions are high. But politicians, all of them, they must just understand that if you are a politician, I think they do understand. But sometimes it catches them off guard. Sometimes it catches them and they're like, yo, wait, how am I gonna? And then if you are a person like who is short-tempered, which I think sometimes who's short-tempered, you get angry quickly. Like then it's a problem. If you are in leadership, like political leadership, because when you go, especially guys, if you agree to an interview, you agree to an interview knowing exactly what is going to happen. If you are a politician and you go to an interview and you expect that the questions are going to be nice, sweet, it's not going to happen. Let me make an example. I'm going to make 2 examples. Very sorry, like I said, warning, I'm going to use somebody that maybe you follow, that you like, okay? Mr. Malema. I made a video here and I spoke about Mr. Malema. I said Mr. Malema went to a show, went to an interview where he actually decided to go there and avail himself to answer questions. And I admired that. And there is a person who commented and said, yeah, but politicians do this. And I said, no. There is no politician who goes to a media campaign, who goes to a media, and goes there and actually avail themselves to be scrutinized. you can put a question or an argument and say, yeah, but the journalist was asking easy question. That's not my business. My business is he went there voluntarily, which you don't see in most or many politicians. I remember there was an old president. I don't know where he's from, right? And then he was making a comment on, I think, Mr. Ramaphosa. He said that, I don't know, he wants to go somewhere for interview, whatever. I don't know, it was a media, what. The president actually said to Mr. Ramaphosa, why would you do that? Why would you go and be asked difficult questions? Why are you availing yourself like that as a president? We don't do that as a president. That's what it is in politics. There are some people who believe that they are not, and they are not supposed to be answered, to be asked questions by the media. There are people who are like that. Okay, now, and then Mr. Mamalema went there. Somebody commented, yeah, it's, and then I was like, no, I'm admiring the fact that he went there, voluntarily, and say, listen, I'm available because you've been asking. Now I'm availing myself. You can do what you have to do. Okay, and then they started asking questions. Like I said, whether she asked him a question that are difficult is neither here or there or whatever that people say. It's neither here or there. All right, the fact is he went there. Now, the same Mr. Malema, he was in a radio station long time ago. There's a video that was actually trending. I think it's TikTok, or I think also here on YouTube, where he went to an interview. He was interviewed. There was a person who called. I think it was the days where they were fighting against Zuma, and then there was a person who called and said, you, my guy, saying to Mr. Malema, you are disrespectful to your elders. Why are you disrespecting elders? You remember that time, that time of Mr. Zuma, they were attacking him, whatever. And then that person called and said, you are disrespecting. And Mr. Malema responded. He didn't respond the way, the deputy minister responded. No, that was an attacking question. You are disrespectful. And then Mr. Malema responded in a good way. But the way he responded, obviously, he was responding to make sure that the person who is asking a question gets where Mr. Malema comes from. All right? That's how you answer questions. Don't answer questions with emotions. Now you are fighting, you are calling people, yeah, you are what. As a leader, unfortunately, we will have to be critical on you because you are a leader of the society. Especially, you are a leader in government proposition. So we have to actually say you should have behaved in a better way. You can't drag yourself into people's levels, and then you want to answer them in their level. As a leader, you will be seen as a bad leader because you have dragged yourself in their level. Be able to handle questions like that. I'm just saying. I'm not saying whatever, but all I'm saying is they were both wrong, but I believe that the leader was supposed to handle it in a better way. All right? Now, not all politicians, they have got a thick skin to be able to be scrutinized, to be able to be asked very difficult questions. Not all of them. They can be capable to handle that. And unfortunately, the general in this case, it showed me that he's not actually capable of handling those type of things. That is why for me, then avoid interviews. They can call you a coward, but you know your personality, you know your character. If a question comes that is attacking, you won't be able to handle it. Stay away from it. Stay away from the interviews. All right? Because you cannot be able to handle it. Right? That's what it is, guys. If you are a public servant, I don't know, guys. Sometimes we like to use this term, I'm a public servant, I'm serving the people. But when the push comes to, when actually the real thing comes, then now you're supposed to be serving. Then the same people are asking you difficult questions. People, they look at it as if like they are attacking me, blah, blah, blah. They are not, but they want answers. All politicians, when they are asked questions on radio, I listen to radio a lot. I like radio. I listen to it because I want to hear other people's perspective and views. And when they ask questions on radios, trust me, they are not nice questions. They will ask you difficult questions. One of the person that actually I trust, not I trust, but one of the person that I admire when it comes to not answering pan, that it comes to being scrutinized when it comes to radio, right? Radio. It's Mr. Mutwaleri. Mr. Mutwaleri never turned down an invitation to a radio station to answer questions. They ask him very difficult questions. He answers them. Even though sometimes he doesn't answer the way it's satisfactory, but he does answer them. He doesn't answer them emotionally. That is Mr. Mutwaleri. He doesn't answer them emotionally. He answered them as a leader. You can tell that this guy is a leader, the way he's answering the question. And even yourself, you can tell that, if it was me, I would have gone that, I would have entered that guy. I would have responded in a very, very hard way to that guy, but he doesn't do that. He answered things and he answered them nicely, even though you can see that it's an attacking question. Okay? Now, all I'm saying, guys, is whether you like it or not, if you want to be a leader in politics, this is what is going to happen. You will trend for calling people that they should go to hell. Right? Anyway, I don't know. What do you think about that? Hope you enjoyed the video. You can do what you have to do. The support. Only thing that I need from you is just a like. That's all. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. This guy is out.